entrepreneurs, small businesses, a lot of women who are jumping in into the space of being on their own, being their own boss. My topic is personal branding for entrepreneurs, and for the women entrepreneurs. Before I get into my topic, I would like to say, um, in general, either you are man, woman, any gender, when you are in a business of your own, anything that is important to a large business, a big corporation, similar strategies, methodologies do apply for a smaller business, but at a smaller scale. The difference is they have a lot of funding, a lot of talent, a lot of consultant, a lot of departments. But as a small business owner, we kind of end up wearing all different hats and we're not always expert of everything. We kind of learn, we waste a lot of time and money, but people, when you hear about someone sharing their expertise, what they bring to the table, be open minded. And that's my ask for you, to be open minded. Hear something maybe new strike to you, and maybe anything else that shows up. So, with that said, I would delve into my topic for today, which is personal branding for small businesses. So, what does brand mean? It's not your logo. It's not your tagline. It's more than that. It's your brand is not your image, your credibility, the services or products that you provide. As a small business owner, you attach your reputation with it. And why a personal brand or credibility image is important, because right now, post COVID era, there are so many people are offering so many different services similar than yours. You have to stand out. It's a lot of pressure. In order for you to attract the customers, that they are loyal, so you don't spend a lot of repeated time, money, and effort in regaining new customers all the time. So you retain loyal customers, so your credibility becomes important, which is part of your personal brand. Why you should create a brand? If you don't, the market will brand you. So that's why personal brand becomes critical. So, what else is important is when you create a brand, you have to become really succinct in creating a most accurate information about your services. If it's too high level, too vague, it doesn't really give a customer a good understanding of what are you providing. So we need to kind of really pay attention to it. Finally, your personal brand is your asset, your equity, and the reward you receive from your services. It becomes all, but it requires some efforts to get there. So, how do we define a brand? I want to pause for a moment. If I'm going too fast, please let me know. Elona, just be my here the coordinator. If I'm going too fast, let me know.
Just you're going too long.
I think you are good, Ritu, on my
All
end.
right. Okay.
We are
So, how,
keeping up.
thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. So, how do we start defining a brand? In addition to everything that I said, when we get to the topic of branding, it has to be simple, simplicity, short, precise, to the point. Has to be clarity, clarity on both sides, clarity on your part,
I'll send you a link.
and also clarity on the part of your customers, your ideal customers. Don't think that
To
anybody can
the
be your customer.
interview between you and I, period.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Please mute your, yeah, all the other speakers, please mute your microphones until it's your turn to speak.
So, clarity is key. If you're not clear and you think anybody can buy your services, that may be true. But when you create a brand, try to create a niche, because your customers can expand, but the brand has to be succinct. Anybody can wear tennis shoes, Nike shoes, but the image that it creates is that support, right? So that's just kind of an analogy that I'm giving you here. Inspiring. When you are an entrepreneur, you are fighting your time, your dollars, your attention for your customers. So make it inspiring. That is really just to anything that you could do to stand out. So those are some definitions that I can add here. Other areas that I talk about are the brand pillars and passions, which is a kind of a little bit detailed conversation. And I'm going to share my free gift to you that is in a article that talks about 6 C's of the brand, in, including those brand pillars and passion. In the interest of time, I'm just going to talk about the 6 C's: clarity, consistency, constancy, communicating, and controlling. A lot of things that would give you an idea of what I talk about. Clarity, I did. Consistency, it has to be consistent. It cannot be if you have more than one product or service and they're different. Make sure that when you're creating a brand, you're clear about it, your customers are clear about it. So it should be consistent and constant. It must be visible and trustworthy. Communicating to your audience. Communication, we can go on that. In interest of time, I'm going to get to the next thing is the controlling part of it is the management of your brand and image is your responsibility. Keyword, your responsibility. You need to monitor the credibility of your brand. So that becomes a really a task that a entrepreneur doesn't have the time for, but that's what is going to drive your customers to you. Cultivating, as it sounds, that growth. Cultivating here is the growth of your brand, your target market. Even if it is you created a niche, but you think that other people can use your services, by all means, yes. That is cultivating relationship building, that you start from a clear, concise um, uh, communication, and then kind of cultivate from there. Otherwise, you will be all over the place. As entrepreneurs, our time is our main asset. All right. So that's kind of very key areas. And I would be more than happy to anyone who needs a 30-minute free consultation call as my gift, in addition to the uh, uh, opt in that I am sending. I am giving, I don't know how to send it. Uh,
Ritu, I will let you know where you could share the links
okay.
afterwards.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want to say if there's a place that people can maybe follow you as you say it, you can do
Yes.
so. If
Uh,
not, we're gonna add the link at the end as well.
No problem. I did send my LinkedIn in the message. That's the best place because I have different areas depending on the need. From a LinkedIn, I would use that channel. And whenever, Elona, you tell me, I would share the link. I just want to open up if anyone has a question on anything that I shared so far. Any questions from audience?
All right. So let me check the audience. I don't think there's any questions. Ritu, I want to thank you. I think what you shared is very, very valuable there. Especially we're in the trust economy right now, right? People want to build trust. The audiences are educated, as you said. Building your personal brand is key. Even the big brands we see, they have a face behind the brand, right? Because people want to connect with the person. So I think what you said beyond logos and websites, that's the old way we learned branding. Today, branding is much more powerful than that. It's your messaging as well. So thank you so much, Ritu, for that. And definitely connect with Ritu. We will include all our links at the end after the summit. So you have everybody's links on there for easy access. But yeah, check out Ritu on LinkedIn. And I always say, that where is the best place that people can follow conversation with you, and that's the perfect definition of your topic today, Ritu. Where is it that you can continue to serve the audience so people can build that know, like, and trust with you as well. So thanks so much for everything you shared.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Such a pleasure. I'm going to my next guest speaker, and she's going to be Leslie Berry. Leslie is going to share with us a little bit about, again, her background so we can get to know her a little bit better, her topic of choice, and also where is it that people can continue the conversation with her. Leslie, welcome, and you have the stage.
Hi, everyone. My name is Leslie Rogers Berry. I am a marketing consultant and strategist based in Chicago, Illinois. And today we're going to talk about marketing. So we are all trying to make a little extra money. Some of us are entrepreneurs, some of us are sellers, some of us are just trying to figure out what it is that we actually want to do. We're thinking about starting a business, but a lot of us get over when it comes to marketing. One, marketing is an umbrella term that means a lot of stuff. You know, it means print, it means digital, SEO, all of those things. And so what I like to do when my clients come to me is I like to break down marketing, demystify it a little bit, and make it really easy for you to find out who your customers are exactly and exactly are online. Okay? So how can we do that? The easiest way I have found that we can demystify marketing and we can find exactly where our customers are is by using the generational marketing technique. What does that mean? Well, we have different generations, right? We have baby boomers, we have Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, Gen Alpha. And when you know exactly who your customers are, you will know what generation they fall into. Why is this important? It's important because each generation has its own set of values. And as we know, people buy based on an emotional response, right? That marketing and sales go hand in hand when it comes to that. So how can we elicit an emotional response from people to get them to stop scrolling, get them to see you through the noise? We talk to their value system. So what are the values of these generations? Well, baby boomers definitely value, they want to leave something behind. They want to make sure that that you talk to them about education and your education. So if you also lead with, you know, your credentials, you've been working at this company for like 10, 20 years, you've been in this industry, you've done all these things. If you lead with your credentials, and if you also lead with telling them how your business is going to help their legacy or the legacy of yours, that is really going to help when it comes to marketing to them. Another generation would be Gen X. Gen X is, you know, so they are known as the last. They had to take care of themselves a lot. So you don't talk to them like they're as though they are managers. Let them know that you are going to have a product or service that is going to get work-life balance. You have to understand, this is the MTV generation. They are the ones that brought grunge and hip hop mainstreams, that started the pop trends that we still see now in 2023. So when you are talking to them, you need to one, as though they are your peer and your equal. Two, because they are the started, you know, bringing in MTV and hip hop, right? So show them how, hey, I can get you ahead in business this way, but also I'm going to make it so that you can go see that concert. You can still go see your favorite people that are now on tour again. Like, you need to use verbiage like that. Millennials see the world in rose-tinted glasses, okay? So what you would want to do for them is you want to motivate. Motivational topics and speeches, journal prompts, those go really well with. So if it's Monday motivation, or if it's you can do it, I believe in you, that really, really will stop a millennial from scrolling, and it will make them actually spend more time in your products and services. And Gen Z, they are online sleuths, and they are all about, who are you? Are you who you say you are? They're very politically active. So you need to be with You need to show what you value. You need to show who you are and what your company stands with, because they really want people that are on their side. Are about people for like gender equality? Are you for topics such as that? Gen Z is really big on that. Now that you know what they value, you can actually know where they are online. So baby boomers are mainly on Facebook and Twitter. They're very politically active. So if you want to market, let's start there. Gen Z is mainly on video sharing platforms. So Gen Z is definitely going to be on TikTok. They're definitely going to be on Instagram and Twitch and YouTube. Millennials are going to be on Facebook, on chat, on YouTube, on Pinterest. And if you are going to talk to millennials, make sure that you go into the stories, okay? So not just the posts, but actually, short content stories as well. And Gen Xers mainly they're on YouTube. They're also on Facebook, Instagram as well. So now that you know what they value, you know exactly where they are online, you can start creating tweaks to them. Because the truth is, there's a lot of noise out there when it comes to marketing. A lot of businesses are just fighting to be seen and they're fighting to be heard. But now that you know who your customers are and where they are online, it just makes the process easier. So if you get to know me better, you can go to my website, www.lilyrosedma.com. You can also find me on channels with @LilyRoseDMA as well. And if you want more marketing advice, I have a pro first 30 days that you will also see on my website as well. And I hope this helped you guys, because I want to succeed.
Oh, Leslie, that was really beautiful, because you just, I think, eased a lot of people's confusion around which social media channel to be on. But I always say it starts with your audience. We got to go back a couple of steps back. And, it's so easy to kind of just be all over the place nowadays, but you have to be very strategic, right? And sharing what your particular audience cares about, the way that you just displayed it, was really, really powerful. So definitely go check out Leslie and continue the conversation with her if you definitely resonated with the message that she shared with us today. Thank you so much, Leslie. Awesome. My other speaker next up is Angela Lay. Is that, I hope I didn't butcher your last name, Angela.
Oh, you were close. It's Lee.
Lee. Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you. And, what I do is I write children's books that teach higher consciousness and emotional intelligence. And I am a conscious parenting consultant. So today, what I'm going to talk about, because this is a business audience, what I'm going to talk about is the role of emotional intelligence in your business. Because if you're triggered by the behavior of others, then you will be reactive rather than responsive. It's very important for you to understand your own emotions, and that starts by paying attention to how you're feeling. So we can easily think about a time when someone triggers us, and we can remember how we felt when we were triggered by that person. What you may not be aware of is that we are only emotionally triggered when someone's behavior energetically matches a prior wounding that we received. So when we are triggered, often we are bringing up energy from a past wounding, and that is our reaction that we bring to the situation. When we understand this, when we understand that our emotional reactivity is an aspect of the energy that we are holding, and it is not something that we blame someone else for, then you can go in and deactivate those emotional triggers. So today I'm going to give you one tool that you can use in your toolbox. It is called focused attention. When you give your feeling focused attention, it has many benefits. One, you become more self-aware and you understand exactly where you're feeling the feeling, how intense the feeling is. But it also helps your mind disconnect from the story of the circumstances. So when your mind is rolling over the story of the circumstances, you get caught in the blame game, you get caught in the "it's not fair," you get caught up in the different energies, and you are reactive, but your mind also dwells on what happens, and so that feeling is carried forward through and extended because your mind is focused on what happened. When you give focused attention to the feeling, which can be as simple as feel,
Hi.
name, and allow. I think someone's not muted. Um, though I do love children, and so that was very cute. So when you feel, name, and allow the feeling, the energy is free to flow and the feeling will soon dissipate. This happens no matter how heavy or hard the feeling is. I have consulted with people who were in grief over the death of an 18-year-old boy in a car accident. And using this technique, they were able to manage their feelings and show up in life the way they needed to. So this is not about repressing feelings. That's the normal reaction to when we're feeling bad, but we have to show up at work and we have to just stomach it and move on so that we can do the work. That is repression or suppression of your feeling, which actually causes the feeling, it gets embedded within you, and the feeling will actually grow over time. So suppression of feelings never works. It's always harmful to you. But when you allow that feeling to flow, then that energy moves and it does not get stored within you. So using focused attention to allow your feelings means that you can be less reactive to the circumstances in your life. And that is a powerful tool that you can use in your work, but it also helps in your family because often the people who trigger us most are our family members. So that is the number one tool. The number two tool is understanding that the people in our life are mirrors for us. And when we are reactive to whatever they're saying or doing, they're showing us through their mirror that we have within us energy that is reactive to that circumstance. So when we understand that that person who is saying something that is just enraging us, they're a mirror for us. We can look at them and instead of pointing our finger in blame and saying, "He said that," we can look at them and say, "This person is a catalyst for my own internal healing." And then we can look at our own issues and resolve them. So understanding that the energy that is reactive to the circumstances in your life often is rooted in either decisions you made when you were a child based on the circumstances around you. If you had a neglectful or abusive parent, you probably made a lot of decisions about who you were based on the circumstances that you were involved in. And you can, using techniques, you can go back and revisit those situations and shift the energy so that you have a new understanding, an adult understanding of what happened at that time. And that will minimize your reactivity. So, emotional intelligence is a very important tool that we can use in our life, whether it be at work or at home. And that's all I have to say.
I love that, Angela. And I know you mentioned that we're a business audience. We're all entrepreneurs, but life skills is we take a holistic approach to life. At least I do. It's not
Yeah.
only about the business. It's also always also about all the other areas around us, right? Relationships around us. So I think what you shared around emotional management, it really affects us the way we make decisions emotionally, whether it's life decisions we're making or business decisions. So I think what you share was really, really high impactful. And a lot of the inner work, a lot of times is very uncomfortable, but it's so necessary even for our business growth. It's really connected. So powerful stuff, powerful work that you do. Where is it that people can continue the conversation with you, Angela?
Thank you. My website, AngelaLegh.com, has access to my children's books, which teach the same things I talked about here. And also, I have the Gentle Parenting mentoring and course available through my website.
Love that. We're all parents as well. We're always learning. Conscious entrepreneurs are people that are always trying to grow consciously, always also understand how that affects their parenting as well. And we always talk about legacy here in the business aspect of things, but I feel like the contribution that we could do towards our family is the biggest legacy that we ever can leave, so we can end a lot of generational things that don't no longer serve us, and not to carry those over for our kids and so on and so forth, so they can continue. So it's definitely a legacy thing that we want to do to continue that. So awesome. Thank you so much, Angela. And you guys know where to follow Angela as well. And I'm moving on to my other speaker. I have Tashima Ko. She's going to be part of our summit, and she's going to share with you again a little bit about her journey and what she feels called to teach us today. Tashima, welcome.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Angela, I loved your piece, first off. And it does go hand in hand with business. And that personal development piece is super important in the beginning. So I am a business coach. I work with corporate professionals who want to create an exit strategy into entrepreneurship. And I do that by teaching them different marketing, business foundation, sales skills. And then I am also an owner of KSK Tax and Accounting Solutions. So I also teach the accounting piece and some of those foundational things that a lot of people do not start with. A lot of times people skip that and worry about it once they get into business. And we go through a lot of that in my coaching business. So today I wanted to start with, truth be told, what I intended to do is completely different from what I am going to do. I have noticed, and it has become a major concern to a lot of people that want to be full-time entrepreneurs, or at least get into entrepreneurship and start their business. They're wondering, how do I start this business while I'm still working my job and even working this job? I think a big part of that is the fear of, hey, I could possibly lose my job for trying to start this business. And I tell my clients this: you don't want to live in fear about getting fired for a job, for a business you haven't even started, for a business that you haven't even done the foundational work for. So, first off, you can always start with that foundational piece that does not require for you to do any advertising at all. And you're going to need that foundational piece to truly understand how you're going to market. So, like one of the other speakers said earlier, you want to know where your market is going to be. And that's a big part of you understanding and learning your market in the beginning during that foundational piece. So, going through and figuring out, okay, who is my market? And where am I going to market to them? And then when you get to a point where you're ready to market and you're ready to put your business out there, I will always, always tell you all, start with your job and where you are. Have you signed any paperwork, any NDAs, any type of contracts that may go against what you're doing? You want to make sure there isn't a conflict of interest starting out. And the name of the game is to protect yourself, because if you've already made a conscious decision that you're going to start this business, then you just need to do what it takes to actually start the business. So I would always recommend, if you can get in contact with a paralegal, or even if you utilize the resources with Legal Shield or Rocket Lawyer, to read over any contracts that you may have signed, just to make sure that you are not going against the job that you currently have, because you do want to make sure while you're building this business that you do uphold that integrity in your business in the beginning. And I think that's very important starting out. But make sure starting out that you guys do not have a conflict of interest, and that you're not doing anything that could cause for you to get. Now, when you get to the point where you're like, okay, I'm ready, I'm ready. I'm not doing anything wrong, and I'm ready. Start with your professional network. Start with the network that you already have. And when you do this, you don't want to just tell people, hey, I got a business, started a business, and this is the name. You don't want to do that. You want to start with giving them the value that you're providing in your business. So make sure you can communicate that effectively. Make sure you're touching those pain points or even those desires that will interest people. And also, don't be afraid to ask for referrals. A big part of my accounting business has come, I mean, literally 75, maybe even 80% of that business has come from referrals. When you're having conversations with people about, oh, I've launched this business and this is what I provide, and this is the life-changing service that I'm able to provide to you. You also want to tell people, hey, if you know someone who may be interested, go ahead and pass my information along. You have to ask for that as a business owner. A lot of times people will know that someone needs you, but they're not thinking about it. That's not on the top of their mind. So you want to put it there. So don't be afraid to start with your professional network, and make sure that you're communicating exactly the value that you're providing, and ask for referrals, guys. It's that plain and simple. Ask for referrals. That is a huge piece to business. And it will take you a very long way when you are starting out, especially if you are still working your corporate job and you don't really want to push too heavily on social media. Now, if you're okay with at least getting on social media and pushing just a little, I would always advise you all, if you're okay and comfortable, start with your page. Allow for your face to be on your page. That way it's a little more humanized. When you're starting out in business, people do not want to work with a logo. They want to work with a human being. So you want to make sure that you can at least add a photo of yourself on your social media templates or something. And if you're not comfortable with that, start a business page. At least get into the motion, the habit of creating content, because no matter what people tell you, social media is a part of the marketing strategy. believe me when I say there are other ways to market your business. I recommend using as many as you can. But I will tell you, in both of my businesses, social media is a piece of it. And it may not be how I use social media for my accounting business is completely different for how I use it in my coaching business. But again, it is a marketing piece. So at least go ahead and build the rapport in the habit of posting so that when you are ready to start your business officially and put it out there to the world, you already have that habit in your mind. You already are used to creating that content. And that's going to be very, very important starting out. Like I said, if you're worried about your boss finding out or worried about your boss seeing your image on your social media, you do just a completely new business page and use a logo and use stock photos for the time being. But at least start posting. That is extremely important. And then if you have like a conflict of interest in your business, and I'll leave you guys with this, try to switch up your niche if you can, or the industry that you're working in, because you don't want to step on toes. Again, you want to uphold that integrity in your business in the beginning. So if you can, switch up your niche, maybe the location or the industry that you're potentially going into.
I love that, Tashima. Thank you so much. I love what you said about referrals. Referrals is 80% in most traditional businesses, way that they generate revenue, right? Because of high trust factor that you have created. So creating a system in your business for referrals and asking for them is a must. It's just not something that it's nice to have, but you're like leaving so
Mm-hmm.
much money on the table. So having a system in your business for referrals is really absolutely crucial. And I love that you said people don't want to do business with a logo. They want to do business with a person. But curate your audiences, just like you said, if you're just starting out. I remember my beginnings. Curate your audiences. You choose who's in your audience, right? So maybe at that beginning until you take the leap, right? And then you can go full in, full energy, full everything. But I think it's really crucial that you do that. I love everything you shared with us. Where is it that people can continue the conversation with you, Tashima?
Thank you. You all could either go to tashimafreeman.com, TASHIMAFREEMAN.com. I am also Tashima Freeman on every social media platform. And if you want direct access, you can text 404-500-9775.
All right, there you have it. Oh my gosh, all the speakers so far have just been amazing. There's so much nuggets of wisdom in this summit altogether. It's like a mastermind, I find, bringing all the amazing minds together and experiences. And that's just the environment that you're all are co-creating. And that's why I love doing summits, because it's bringing the best and you always learn something from everyone. And that is the next dot that you might be need to connect in your life and business. You never know. So the message is really, really powerful. Awesome. My next speaker is going to be Kristen Alvin. Kristen's going to share with us a little bit more regarding the work she does as well. And I'm sure she's going to add immense value to you. She's one of my most recent connections, and we have so much alignment together. So Kristen, welcome to the summit. You have the stage.
Thank you so much. I appreciate being here and being with everybody. So yes, my name is Kristen Allwine, and I am your Chief Freedom Officer. I used to be a Chief Financial Officer for companies ranging anywhere between $10 and $222 billion. And I left corporate space for a lot of reasons. But one of the reasons that I left is as I sat and explained to multi-million-dollar CEOs the numbers of your finances, I realized that there was definitely a need to make sure that entrepreneurs and business owners understood numbers, right? This isn't something that we normally have training in. And it's so important, as we learn the marketing, the sales, the leads, right? When you have that cash flow coming in, what do you do? And how managing it will ultimately be able to impact your business. One of the statistics is part of the reasons that a lot of businesses don't succeed is because of cash flow management. And like I said, Some people will do it as if it's their own personal bank account, right? And a lot of us have all kinds of crazy stories about how we manage money. You know, I walked into multi-million-dollar companies and changed them from nonprofit to profit just from being able to manage cash flow, right? Expanding revenue. You know, a lot of people think, oh, the chief financial officer, you just tell us what we can't spend money on. And I'm like, no, we do a lot of strategy and a lot of building out your revenue streams to make you have a more substantial business. But what's important is, right, a lot of times we put that off and we go, oh, I'm just going to hire somebody. And obviously, I appreciate hiring accountants and hiring people that can do it for you. But you understanding your numbers is so important, right? We've all heard the stories about, you know, the manager that was able to take the money, right? The deals that were bad. But being informed and being educated in what your numbers mean and that your numbers tell a story. And a lot of owners that I talk to are like, oh, I don't make enough money, or I'm not as profitable as I should be. And I'm like, but the more that you track them, the more that you see how you can make your numbers work for you, the more they grow. And isn't that ultimately, right? We all want successful businesses. We all want profitable businesses. So therefore, by being able to look at those numbers, understanding them. So what I basically do is I have kind of like this boot camp for entrepreneurs. It's 1 week out of a month that literally it's a group hybrid setting where you learn not only how to look at numbers in a group setting, but we literally walk through your numbers of how you can understand your numbers on a one-on-one behind the scenes basis, how you can put together your cash flow, and then how you can manage your cash flow, which gives you such a strong ultimate base foundation for your company. And, you know, people ask all the time, right? Is it 1,000? Is it 5,000? Right? What does my monthly income need to be? And I'm like, the sooner you can start putting these tools into place, the better. It's all about that foundation, right? We all want that strong foundation when we first start. So I take that and then I put together with a 90-day plan, right? Realizing that if we want to hit goals, right? What are our big goals, right? If you're going to do those forecasts, it's great to just come up with numbers, but you need to have the support behind it. And how do you come up with the support? Well, by putting together a 90-day plan, you build momentum, right? There's almost nothing you can do for 90 days, right? So you add things on. We've heard people talk about getting started in the summit and building, right? Get really good at one thing. Well, if you get really good at one thing or two things or three things in 90 days, and then the next 90 days and the next 90 days, and you keep building off of it, you would be amazed at how much momentum you have. You don't have that lost in, you know, freebie land, or I'm going down this path, or I'm looking at this strategy. You stay very focused, which is what I call intentional focus action. And therefore, things come together a lot faster for you. You know, we hear all kinds of stories. Oh, you're not supposed to be profitable for X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, technically, those are all about businesses, one, that used to be all brick and mortar, not service-based businesses, right? So you really need to understand where some of that's coming from. This is now my second company. Both of them have been extremely profitable within a year, right? And some of them, yes, are because of referrals and the connections that I make. But it's also because of that managing that cash flow. And that is why it is so important.
I love that, Kristen. Know thy numbers. It is so important. I see the same gap in the marketplace in the entrepreneur world because I also came from corporate. You know, when we decide which business model we need to choose, we decide that based on the income we also want to make. A lot of us are hard driven. We started our business because we want to make impact, but not everybody understands how to also align the income with it. And in order for you to be profitable and keep growing and have the healthy cash flow that you need to continue to make more impact and do more good in the world, you must know your numbers. And we always must start there. So putting that strategy on, it is so important to kind of do that. And a lot of people always are referring to traditional businesses, but we're doing business in a different time, right? Right now, you can choose to align your business whichever way you want, as long as it makes sense to you financially and with where you want to go with your vision, mission, and values. And that is the business for you. And at every stage and phase, you have to strategize differently. Whatever got you to a certain stage is not going to be the same thing that gets you to the next level. So I love that so much. Kristen, where is it that people can continue the conversation with you?
So my links, my company name is Alignment CFO, because alignment is truly, right, how you're going to grow your business. You need to be in alignment. Facebook, I'm on pretty much all social medias, and it's either under Kristen Allwine or it's Alignment CFO. And I will add my links so that you can reach out and we can start having connection and go from there.
Yeah, thanks so much. We love alignment and purpose here in this community. So thanks so much for sharing that. Beautiful. I'm going to my next speaker next. It's going to be Kenny. Kenny Ingersoll. Kenny, welcome to the summit. Can't wait to hear a little bit more regarding what you do as well.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here. So I am a business owner in the financial services industry. And one of my focus is is money mindset. But I'm going to focus today on why. Why do you want wealth? Why did you start a business? Why do you do what you do? And when I was talking about, I love how you just mentioned, Elona. Sorry. When you get to one level, what took you to one level is not going to take you to the other level. And that's so true, because we have different levels of fear that we face and different levels of obstacles and different levels of belief. So you got to keep reselling yourself on why you started in the first place and why you're continuing. Who are you leaving the legacy for? Who are you building this business legacy for? What is the purpose of building this business legacy? What impact do you want it to have? What impact does it have on you as you use it to serve others? What impact do you want it to have on others? So constantly reselling yourself on that and realigning with who you are, because oftentimes as entrepreneurs, especially when we make the transition from corporate to business owner entrepreneur world, we wear all the hats that we've talked about before and were discussed. And our why and our goals kind of get muddled and mixed around and tossed everywhere, and sometimes even tossed out the window. So we constantly need to refocus on why we're doing it. What's our goal? Who is the face with the logo? I loved that got pointed out. Not just a logo, not just a brand, not just a social media presence, but who is the person, or who are the people behind that? And so constantly asking yourself that, who is this person? What is the goal here? Are we still on track for our goal? And it drives deep the resolution to continue forward, to move to the next level, to go out and get the help from all these other people. And that's why we have these masterminds and summits. So we get the help from others, so we continue to grow and continue to develop who we are and stay on our course as we help others and serve others through our business, and then building and leaving that legacy on purpose. And so reselling yourself on that is so vital, and understanding why you want the money, why you want the wealth. What are you going to use that money for? If it's just sitting in a bank account, it's not doing any good. But if you're using it for your purpose, if it's to build your legacy, to build your vision, your brand, you know, what does that look like for you? What is the purpose of that money? What do you want that impact to look like? And so a lot of times that gets lost in the mix, lost in the daily hustle, daily grind, whatever you want to call it. And it gets so distorted that we don't even recognize it sometimes. So getting back to that basic is really important. And excuse me, I want to leave you with a challenge to continually have that center focus. You know, as that, you know, does this goal over here align with my core goal, my core value, my core purpose, why I started, why I'm continuing, why I'm doing what I'm doing. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, Kenny. That was amazing. Focus is another really, really powerful word in entrepreneurship. Staying focused so you make progress towards all the right goals that are important to you, that are also aligned with two things I always say: is it making the impact you desire, and also is it making the income? So kind of checking that against, you know, your day-to-day activities and operations of the business is always a helpful intention setting exercise. So I love that you shared that with us today as well. And Kenny, where is it that people can continue the conversation with you?
So yeah, thank you. And the simplest way is on my website, www.ingersollenterprises.com. And it's got all my social media links, my email, direct phone. So that's the simplest way.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Kenny. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
All right, a few more speakers to go. I have Stephanie McPhail next. I hope I also didn't butcher your last name, Stephanie. Welcome.
There we go. Sorry, my house was kind of busy right before when we started, so I apologize to anyone where you might have heard some sounds.
But thank you, our kids home. It's spring break week, so we get it.
Appreciate it. Well, it's been so great to hear everybody so far. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of this amazing summit. I love being able to share the stage with such wonderful, amazing, inspiring people. So thank you so much for all of that. My name is Stephanie McPhail. I'm a toxic relationship recovery expert, the author of 2 books, Being Loved Shouldn't Hurt and my workbook, which were #1 new releases. I've been interviewed on Fox. I've been in New York Weekly. I'm on the core council of experts for Avaya University. I'm on the board of a nonprofit. I have a double master's degree in health and education, a bachelor's in psychology, certified crisis counselor, certified coach, Reiki practitioner who specializes in coaching professional women to discover who they are after leaving toxic relationships. So I wanted to share that ahead of time because I think that for especially something like this with so many business people, I was someone who used to do really well, if you want to call it that, at choosing really terrible partners and then trying everything to make it work. So do me a favor, if that's ever happened to you, give me like a hands up. So like a yes in the comments, or, you know, put something in there so I know that you resonate, because I have a feeling that I'm not the only one. But I really thought, I see some yeses, I really thought that because I was doing really well in my career, that I had friends, that I had all these other things going on that were great in my life, I really felt super isolated in the fact that I kept being in these toxic relationships. I thought something was wrong with me. I was really embarrassed. Here I was taking phone calls at night with suicidal people and helping them. I was the first person that everyone went to when there was a problem. And behind closed doors, I was secretly crying myself to sleep. I was someone who felt like nobody else understood, nobody else could fathom what I was going through because I just felt so isolated. And what I realized is that there are so many other people like me. There are so many people like those of you who said yes, but you understand there's a very underrepresented group of, because when you think about domestic violence, you know, for example, there's different levels, right? Stage 4 cancer would be physical abuse, you know, like breaking bones and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in between there. But in movies and songs and things like that, they never talk about any of those things. So I spent 18 plus years going from one toxic relationship until another one. And the last one being, realistically, was my first husband, who on our wedding night, we got married in a castle. It was a beautiful day. All my friends and family were there. I was definitely really good at pretending everything was okay, even though I had some red flags ahead of time. And on our wedding night, he chased me around the honeymoon suite until he threw me on the bed and started strangling me. And I share that not for shock, but to say that afterwards, he talked me into staying because I didn't want anyone to know, because of the shame and the fear and the guilt that I was holding on to. I didn't want anyone else to know that I had dealt with what I had dealt with. So I pretended, and I stayed for 5 years. I kept trying to explain. I kept trying to throw him out. Then he would do better and I would let him back in. And I was stuck in that cycle. So I finally decided to change my life and create a difference. Almost like I had taken off these life and behind closed doors, and it was it. And I took those glasses off, and suddenly I realized, wow, and I realized the world out there that I didn't know existed, and it's way better than I ever thought it was possible. And I realized that I wasn't the only one, because when I started sharing my story, people came to me that I had known for years, and they started to feel comfortable to share their story. And I realized that it was going on behind closed doors, and that it was way more common than I realized. So I am super passionate about helping women who are in the professional setting, who are feeling like they're underrepresented, underheard in the toxic relationships. And I really want them to know that it is possible, no matter what you've experienced, no matter how long you've been in that toxic relationship, it is possible for you to change. But here's the thing, and this is why, to me, professional women, we're so specific, is that we are really good at putting on a front, because, you know, it's about looks, especially, you know, let's be real. But it's also because we're not really that great at knowing when to stop. We are like pit bulls, right? We find something, we hold on to it, and then we don't know when to let go. And why do we do that? We do it because we're researchers, we're problem solvers, we're fixers. And so we do all these things when we get into this toxic relationship where we're trying to fix this person, but that person doesn't want to be fixed. In fact, they probably don't even want to admit that there is a problem. So here we are, we've gotten this commitment in this relationship, even if it's, you know, a newer relationship, but we feel committed to this relationship no matter how long we've been in it. And then we want to try to do everything in our power to make it work, when sometimes the best answer is to let it go. Not every toxic relationship means that there is physical violence. Some toxic relationships are verbal abuse. There's verbal abuse, there's physical abuse, there's, you know, sexual abuse, there's socioeconomic abuse. I mean, there's all sorts of different types of abuse when we're talking about it. So when people ask me, well, what do you mean by toxic relationship? And of course, we could talk about narcissism, we could talk about borderline personality disorder and, you know, psychopaths. We can talk about all those things, but none of those things really matter to me as much. You don't need degrees in psychology to figure out if you've been in a toxic relationship or not. Here's what you do. When you are in a relationship, I don't care if it's a work relationship, a romantic relationship, a family relationship, I want you to ask yourself a question. How do I feel when I'm around them? And how do I feel once I leave them? Two really important questions to ask yourself, because here's what it is. When you're with them, you might feel great. And then when you're not around them, you might feel terrible, because some of these people that are these energy suckers, they shoot you up with all this energy and then they disappear and you don't know where they are. And then you have all these concerns, abandonment issues, all these other things come up and you're like, I don't know what's going on. That's not healthy. That's a toxic relationship. Now, it could be that when you're with them, you feel terrible. You feel under or misunderstood. You feel like you're trying to fight for attention all the time. You feel this feeling of not being with someone who gets you because you don't feel good around them. You might feel like your voice is being muted. You might feel like you're inadequate. Again, there's this feelings of discomfort when you're there. And then afterwards, you got to think about it also. Once you walk away from them, do you feel energized? Do you feel inspired? Do you feel motivated? Do you feel like you're a better version of yourself simply from spending time with them? If the answer is no, then you need to decide for yourself and make a conscious decision. Are you going to be someone that continues to put yourself in that situation where you know it's toxic? Or are you going to decide to limit the time or completely remove yourself? Because one of the things that I realized is that we are so good at going into survival mode. You know, we keep acclimating to the horrible things that are going on. And at first it starts off small and gets bigger and bigger, but we're so good at acclimating that all of a sudden we look back and we're like, how did I get here? But that happens because we're constantly rediscovering ourselves. Let's figure this out. Let's do this. And, you know, we have a project. That's what we do as professional people, as entrepreneurs. So when you realize that you're in that place, you have to decide for yourself. You get to be the creator of your own life. But I'll tell you right now that for those of us who think we can figure it out on our own, we are going to be vastly mistaken. Just like we need just all these other wonderful coaches that have talked about, you know, financial coaches and getting your, you know, your services in order for your branding and all that kind of stuff. When it comes to creating healthy relationships, I bet you would have already done it if you had the tools to do it. So the question to ask yourself is, am I happy with how things are? Have I been in a relationship that has left me feeling lost? Have I felt like I have given everything of myself and paid all my attention, all of my energy into this other person where I now don't know who I am? And now I need to figure out who that person is because I don't ever want to get into that kind of relationship again. I want to feel so comfortable being single that I know that I will not choose someone who takes away my energy. So when you get to that point, you'll be able to meet someone who adds to your life instead of takes away from your life.
Oh my gosh, Stephanie, that was powerful. The way you just kind of spoke to the professional women, pit bulls. I can so resonate with so much of that. I never heard of it explained like that before. And that's the beauty of us being authentic and sharing our personal journeys, that no one can say it just like we say it, because our life experience is so different. And the levels of toxicity, oh my gosh, I could so relate to that as well. Because yeah, no one kind of just boils it down to that. It's like, we just like, well, is this something I should allow or not? Like there's so many questions there. So your work is deep for sure. Stephanie, where is it that people can continue the conversation with you?
So the best place to go would be to go to stan.store/being loved shouldn't hurt. There you can get access to my private Facebook group, which we share. Actually, tonight is Thursday. So we go live every Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, sharing tips and tools to rediscover yourself after toxic relationships. My husband and I work together, so we get to tag team and share the information there. We're also, same kind of thing, on all social medias. Look up Stephanie McPhail or Being Loved Shouldn't Hurt, and you'll find and get access to our work.
Okay, beautiful. Thanks so much, Stephanie. Thanks so much for sharing all of that.
Thank you.
All right, we have 3 more speakers to go. I'm so excited. Next up is Sherry Michelle. Sherry, thanks so much for coming on. You have the stage.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm actually glad that I'm the next speaker because wow, I can piggyback a little bit on Stephanie. And y'all, if y'all are not taking notes, because I'm over here taking notes, y'all are missing out on some stuff, okay? I got so much so far. Holy moly. So my name is Sherry Michelle. I am a leadership and business development expert. I run Sudden Success Business Solutions, and we help entrepreneurs get their business life together. We help you get started, help you scale, and help you get the staff that you need in order to grow to the 7, 8, and 9-figure mark. So I want to piggyback off of a couple of things that have already been said today. Hiring. Hiring is so important. And a lot of entrepreneurs do not know when, the whys, and the what's to do as far as hiring is concerned. And so I want to talk about this because if you don't, and Ritu said it so well when she started us off today, that we wear so many hats as entrepreneurs, because not only are we wearing the hats of our businesses, we're also wearing the hats of our lives. So in any day, especially if you're parents, just think about all of the people that you are in one day. You are in your business, you're the CEO, you're probably the CFO, you're the janitor, you're the accounts receivable, you are the inventory person, you're the cashier, you are like there's just a long laundry list of people. And then you go to your personal life as wives, husbands, boyfriends, and you're emotional support. You're probably a chef. You're probably a janitor there too. Like, there's so many roles. Then you add the kids in and you're a chauffeur. You are an events coordinator. And so once you start getting through that list, I'm gonna poll the speakers. Let me get the whole screen, because I really want y'all to see this. I just said in any given day as an entrepreneur, we are 30 different roles. So how many of you have been in business for longer than a year? Raise your hand. Okay. Everybody here, how many times have you sat your head down, you got really, really into a project, and then you looked up and it was 3 days later and you were like, have I showered? Have I fed myself? How many are guilty? Once you get into your passion and you know you're on the right path, days just go by and you're just like, what happened? So today I really want to talk about the importance of hiring and how that can not only add to your business, but also add to how fast you can grow it and help you get some of the goals worked out. And it's so important. Just as why I said we polled, days can go by. And so as a business owner, let's talk about the why. So Stephanie was talking about toxic relationships as far as your partner is concerned. And the first reason I'm going to say why as far as hiring is you don't want to begin a toxic relationship with your business. Wearing all those hats day in, day out, and you're the only person for every solution is exhausting. And if you continue that for days and days and days and weeks and months, you're going to start to resent your business, especially if you are one of those people who find yourself in an industry where it takes you a year or two to see profitability. And I say that from personal experience. When I first started the company that I'm doing now, Sudden Success, I was literally working from midnight till like 4 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week. And every day my laundry list was getting longer and longer and longer. So I'm working 16-hour days and I'm just getting more and more behind. And so what happened was I started to resent my business. It is imperative to your mindset and to the growth of your company that you stay in a beautiful space of personal growth. And if you are always in the day-to-day activities, you cannot grow your company successfully, which is going to be my number 2 as for the why. Number 2, you are a CEO. No matter how big or small your business is, you need to position yourself as the CEO of your company. And as the CEO, you need to look at these big companies, Coca-Cola, Walmart, any of the big boys. They have structure. Their departments are not all the same people. You do not have the sales reps looking at inventory. You do not have the accountants doing cashier work. You just don't. They're just not the same people. So when you are looking to be the CEO of your company, you need to look at the departments that you need. Those items that you don't know how to do, delegation is the way to get them done quickly. 100%. There are things that you need to learn to do just to know how they're done. So just learn a brief synopsis of it. Hey, accounting, always know what your money is doing. Always, always, always know what your money is doing. So take a brief accounting course so that you can have a bookkeeper, but you can read what they're telling you. Social media marketing. Look at some social media ideas so that you know what your social media marketer is doing, but still delegate those tasks out. Those are super important. And the third reason why is because a lot of us are transitioning from business, from being in a corporate space or running a job, and we're transitioning into entrepreneurship. In hiring, you are able to hire someone, and during your 6 to 9 time, that 5 to 9 time that you are working your business, you can train that person. And after you train them for a month or two during that 5 to 9 time, they can become you during 8 to 5 while you are still at your job, and they can replace you in that space so that you can not only make the money in your job and be comfortable that you have that, because a job is a very, very powerful thing for your business. I know a lot of these companies, a lot of gurus are like, quit your job, go for. Don't do that. Please don't do that. I'm here to tell you, do not do that. There's a space and a case for everything. So you want to have that person to replace you during the day and build your business while you are at your job, and that will help you leave your job faster. So those are the whys. Those are my whys. I hope you got them. When should you start the hiring process? So the best way for me to say is as soon as possible. And what does as soon as possible look like? That looks like get your standing operating practices in place, your SOPs. Figure out your programs. Figure out how you want to have those paid. Figure out your marketing strategy and your numbers. So really sit back and write your company out, a whiteboard, brain dump, like get all of this out of your head. Do a brain dump as often as possible. They're so helpful. But you want to have these things in place, and you want to have a structure to your business, even if it's just the basic level of having your business together, so that you have a direction to tell that employee to go in. And once you have that in place, then hire. Please do not look at hiring as an expense, and I'm going to go to that next. But it is important to get someone else in there, because once you get an employee in place, not only are they going to point out some of the holes that you have in your company, because they're going to have questions that you may need to create answers for, but they're also going to be a sounding board for the things that your client base are telling them that you don't have time to listen to because you are busy running and growing this company. Now, number 3, before I go to number 3, I wanted to discuss the cost. So a lot of people do not hire because they think that it costs them money to hire, but they're not thinking that once you hire, you have more hands to create more revenue. So if I'm going to use a basic example, let's say that you're doing $10 an hour in your business as far as your products. So you work 8 hours a day. That is $80 for that day. You hire someone, give it a month, get them on scale. They're not making $80 a month. They're not making $80 a day. And you can scale down to 4 hours because now they've taken over. So now you're at $120 a day, but you're doing half the work. And now you can take this time to develop new products and services, so that $10 an hour can go to $20 and $30 an hour. And as that grows, they are paying for themselves by doing the work. And my third point is what to delegate. And this is going to be super quick, but the easiest thing to delegate is 2. Number 1, the things you don't know how to do. And number 2, the things that you simply don't want to do. The first thing I absolutely gave up when I started hiring is the phone. I hate the phone. I absolutely hate it. It's me, and that thing is narcissistic. So the first person I hired was a customer service person to answer my phone. And if anyone is thinking of the easiest way to hire, it is virtual assistants. And you can find them all over the world. And I have found that every country has a different niche that they are known for. So that is what I wanted to share today. I hope it was useful to so many people. And I know your next question is going to be where to find me.
Yeah, because
So
you lots of information. The way your brain works. That's what I'm watching. Like your strategy. You're a strategist. I love that. Yes. Where is it that people can continue?
So the best way to find me is to Google me. So it is Sheri, Sheri, and then Michelle with one L. You will find every social media. You'll find other podcasts that I've been on. You will be able to connect with me however you learn. So if you're a sight, sound, or reading material, it's all there. And if you are looking for staffing to help grow your company so you can exit your 9 to 5, you can go to www.helpmefindava.com, and me and my team will be happy to help you find the staff that you need to help your company grow.
All right, Sheri, love your energy. Thank you so much for everything you shared with us today. Beautiful. My next speaker is going to be Kendria Johnson. Kendria, welcome. You have the stage.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Everybody can hear me? Okay. How are you? How is everyone today? Such a wonderful lesson that I learned. I'm also taking notes here, taking mental notes and physical notes. Now, what I was about to share, I had to go ahead and scratch that off my list because I feel the spirit to go ahead and share a story. So before I introduce myself and all my credentials, I'm going to tell you a story. I want you to imagine for me, because I'm a teacher, been a teacher for 22 years. I want you to imagine this day with me, I should say. Imagine it's 3:30. Okay, it's 3:30. I'm a school teacher. I've been teaching all day. I have not had a break. I skipped lunch because I had to tutor the kids, and I had every bit of some bag of chips and Dr. Pepper. Now, how many of you know that is absolutely not the breakfast of champions, nor is it the lunch of champions. But that's all I've had today, and it's 3:30. I'm watching the clock. Can't wait for this bell to ring because when the bell rings, I'm going to release the kids and go with them so I can get in the car and go get something to eat because I've already been diagnosed with anemia. I'm already, hyperglycemic, and I have a headache because I haven't eaten all day, and I've taught all day long. So I'm on my way. The bell rings. I grab my purse, and that's when I start to feel it. I start to see the room shrinking. My eyes are dilating, and I'm starting to feel a little dizzy. And so all I'm thinking in this moment is, can I make it to my car? Can I just make it to my car? If I can make it to my car, then I can at least pass out in the car. So if anybody's ever passed out or fainted, you already know what's happening. I'm walking as slow as I can, and bam, I hit that concrete. I hit it hard. And if you've ever passed out or haven't fainted, you know it. Technically, you're only unconscious for a few seconds, but it feels like you're unconscious for minutes and hours almost, right? So I'm unconscious at this point on the ground. Bell is just rung. Kids are going to the bus. There's a big commotion. And what I can hear, my eyes are not open, but I can hear someone say, "Miss Johnson, are you okay?" And then I feel someone grabbing my left hand. "Are you okay?" This is Miss King. Miss King is on my left side. She's grabbing my hand. She said, "Somebody get us some water." And then I hear on the right side, I hear another teacher said, "Y'all get us some water, lift her up, fan her, fan her, fan her." And then at the back of the room, it seems like it was really, really far away, but I can hear someone yelling while I'm on the ground, passed out, yelling my name. "What's going on over there with Miss Johnson? What's going on over there?" This is the principal. She's on a bullhorn. Now, if you know this principal, she doesn't need a bullhorn, okay? She doesn't need that. She has a voice that could probably move mountains. She doesn't need a bullhorn, but she's on the bullhorn screaming at the teachers to hurry up and get me off the ground. Because her priority in that moment was to get the kids on the bus. Not that, I could have had a concussion from hitting the ground. Not that, that's one of our teachers. Let's go see what's going on. But her concern was, you need to hurry up and get up off the floor because, we got these kids and y'all need to hurry up and get to duty because we got these kids to take care of. It was in that moment as a school teacher, ladies and gentlemen, that I realized that I had to do something different. It was in that moment that I started to do research on my condition. And I didn't have the words at the time for burnout, but I figured them out really, really quickly. And I had hit that wall of burnout. And in that moment, I decided that I had to do something different. I had to change my lifestyle. I had to change the way I was doing things. I had to change taking care of myself. I had to change the way I thought about this job that I was doing, because I didn't want to be a part of a system, someone to treat me like I was so unimportant that people just should step over me while I'm sitting there literally, dying and you can't trying to catch my breath. Okay, not to mention I could have had a concussion. Not to mention I could have been having a stroke or a heart attack. But hurry up and get her out of the way, because these kids are most important. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a teacher coach. My name is Kendria Johnson. I make good teachers great by bringing them out of burnout and back into a balanced life. And I've written a book called the Strive to Thrive Toolkit, okay? Teacher of the Year, because I feel like if you survived a year of teaching, you should be named and labeled Teacher of the Year. Every teacher in there should be labeled Teacher of the Year. So when I wrote this book, I became the solution that I needed, because when I was going through that section of what am I doing? Why am I doing this? What's my purpose? I had lost my passion, completely lost my passion for teaching. Because once any educators out there know, once you fall in love with it, it's hard to not get in love with it, right? And I was falling out of love with it. I just wasn't in love with it anymore. It was just a job for me. And so I would talk to my friends, and they meant well. They were so sweet, Miss King and Miss Lewis and all of my friends. They were really nice. But they would say things like, you just got to suck it up. Just got to suck it up and keep going. But I couldn't keep going. Well, you just, go talk to somebody, go pray about it. That was my favorite one. Go pray about it. I'm like, and I did that, and that wasn't working either. So with my Strive to Survive toolkit, I came up with 6 steps, and these are the 6 steps that I took, that I needed at that time in my life when I was in a crossroads where I couldn't figure out what I wanted to be and why was I in this space where I didn't know how I was going to get over it, through it, or around it. And I wrote down all of my feelings. I wrote down everything I was going through, everything I had been going through. I wrote down my medical expenses that I was going through, because the stress, how many stress can affect your mental health and your physical health? And I was going through all of these things. And I couldn't figure out who to talk to, who to go, where to go. And I had to do some drastic changes for myself. And so when I put myself through all of these things, because I had to do the work on me first, I am a teacher. I'm still a teacher. I'm a conduit of knowledge. I started to help other people. I found that, I was already a mentor teacher before this, but then after that, I was starting to like, okay, let me tell you what you need to do. You need to start saying no. You need to start taking care of yourself. You need to start writing down what your goals are. You need to start writing down why you're here and what is your purpose in this life, this thing called education. Now, I know we're here to talk about business, but my part and my portion of this conversation is going to be very simple. Turning that passion that you have into a profit is going to take work, because I think someone else on this beautiful stage has already said that we lead with our hearts. My heart was to help teachers. My heart was to help, administrators get, the boost their morale in their schools. My heart goes out to those teachers who are just like me. I was looking, my perfect customer is someone who was just like me, who, they love what they do, but they don't want to sacrifice their private life, and they don't want to sacrifice any more of their extra time to do it. No other profession requires you to keep your phone on all day, except doctors and lawyers, to answer questions from parents. Nobody, that's ridiculous. Why are we doing that? And so I became that solution that I needed. Now, the business part started about 3 to 4 years ago, right before the pandemic, when I had a teacher come to me and said, I'm having problems with this, and this. And, for lack of time, I won't go into her story too much, but basically I helped her. And I said to her, this is what you need to do. Sit down, take a seat and sit down. And I gave her some instructions on what to do. And because of that, I turned that into a workshop. I turned that workshop into, some streaming classes and some group sessions. I turned those group sessions into the book, and I turned this book into my profit. Okay. Now, I'm here. I only have a few minutes left, so I'm just going to share a few things that I did to help me turn my passion into a profit. And if you're a business owner, you can relate to all of this. How do I put a price on peace? Peace is not tangible, ladies and gentlemen. It's just not. You can't. I don't have a brick and mortar business where you can go into my store and go and pick up peace off of my shelf and pay for it, right? So how do I price what I do? How do I price, peace of mind? How do I price career advice that I give? How do I price going in there, standing up for yourself, having a backbone, and saying no to some things? How do I price that? And what helped me the most is what I'm going to share with you really quickly today. I want you to write down, if you have this exercise, we have time. We have time, Elona. I hope we have time. I want you to write down 4 things: peace, freedom, time, struggle. Okay. Say it again. It's peace, freedom, time, and struggle. Then the second thing I want you to do is I want you to prioritize them. Number them from 1 to 4, 1 being the most important thing on that list, and 4 being the least important thing on that list. And then the third thing I want you to do, okay, when you have time and you have time to go back and look at this, is I want you to put a number by it. Any number you want, you price it. How much is peace worth to you? How much is your time worth? I don't know about you, but my time is extremely valuable and I don't like to give it away. And how much is freedom worth to you? My freedom is very important to me. I like to be able to get up and go when I want and do what I want to do. I don't like being held down, that kind of thing. And then struggle. See, my struggle and that story I told you, that comes with me. I can't discount that. So therefore, I don't discount my prices for people who say you charge too much. I don't do that. And business owners everywhere know exactly what I mean. So the first thing that I struggle with when I started this business is you charge too much. Are you sure you have to do that? Why can't you just, no, how much can I get for $100? You can get the end of this phone call is what you can get, because people will tend to discount your struggle, your peace, and your time. But I'm here to tell you that is a part of your business strategy. Make that a part of your business strategy. Write down what's important to you. Put some prices on it. Find out what it costs. What did it cost for me to go to therapy? Because I went. What did it cost for me to go to the hospital that day? Because I went. Write down all of those things and put that into your pricing, because your price and your worth and your value and your passion is not negotiable. And my passion has a price. I paid it. So you should too, as my customer, right? As much as I love coaching, love mentoring, love teaching, my worth is not negotiable. My name is Kendria Johnson.
All right, Kendria. Wow, I love that. You are an amazing storyteller. I guess your career as a teacher has definitely taught you that amazing skill, which is so important. But I love what you said, not only the story, but also at the end about pricing, because especially as service providers, it's so hard for us to put a price on our experience, because most of the time to us, it's easy. Like it's a gift, it's a skill that we built over time. But just like you said, how long did it take you to do that? So I wrote down all the things that you mentioned, and I think that was a great takeaway from your part of the talk today. And Kendria, did you share where people can connect with you further?
Sure. Yes, my website is Teach for Life. That's 4 as the number, and there's no spaces in that. Teachforlife.training. And you can email me. I prefer email, because then I can give you all of my links and put you on my email list, and you can get all of my speaking engagements and the book I have come out. And I actually have a TV show that I'm producing now that will be out this summer. So my email is Kendria J. That's KENDRIAJ05 at gmail.com. So again, training and my email address. They can reach me there.
There you have it. Oh my gosh. Well, one more speaker and we are wrapping up. I mean, I just don't want this to end. There's so much wisdom in this room. I can't. Madhurima Sapati is our last speaker for today. Madhurima, welcome, and you have the stage.
Hello, hello. Oh my gosh. You guys, this has been one of the most productive sessions so far. Elona, thank you so much for hosting this wonderful mastermind. I have definitely learned a lot, and I'm going to piggyback off of what Kendria said, because I feel like the work we do is so similar. And she literally stole half of my topic, but I'm kidding. You know what? I'm all here for it because it genuinely validates what we think, and oftentimes how we think is pretty similar to each other. But I'm going to start off with this wonderful word, which is legacy, right? Legacy is such a powerful word. And if I don't know how many of you guys are musical theater fans and have watched Hamilton, because I have, like, I literally vibe to it all day long. But there is this quote in Hamilton where he says, legacy, what is a legacy if not planting seeds in a garden that you'll never see? Right? Like, I feel like that word is so powerful. That quote is so powerful because oftentimes legacy is not what we achieve in this lifetime. Legacy is what we leave behind for people to follow along. And I feel like that is such a powerful word and it has so much meaning for us. And oftentimes we can kind of get caught up in it. No matter how powerful and motivating it is, we have a tendency of getting caught up in it. Just like my dogs, who are really eager to meet me, they're like, you've been locked away in a room for like an hour and a half right now, so like, what's up? But but as I was saying, coming back to legacy, it's a really powerful word and it ties in really well with the word passion. What are we passionate about doing? Because there is this myth And I don't think it's a myth entirely, but there is this line that pretty much all of us have heard so far, which is, if you love what you do, you won't work for a day, right? I think it is a myth solely because you are still putting in the work. You still have to do the things that you have to do. I remember one of my guests from one of my podcast sessions once told me that a lot of people who quit their 9 to 5 to start something of their own, they do that thinking that they have absolute control over what they do, and they do, but they forget about all the other tasks that they have to manage as well, like was kind of spoken about by all of our speakers here today. So I feel like it's really important to understand that you will be wearing a lot of hats. You will be going from a 9 to 5 to almost a 24/7 job when you start doing something that you absolutely love, right? But it doesn't mean that you have to do it for 24/7. We have a lot of myths around it that, yo, you know what, I am doing what I love, so I need to shut my mouth and I need to keep hustling, I need to keep burning the midnight oil, I need to work, I need to sacrifice my boundaries, I need to sacrifice my peace, my freedom, my time, my mindset, like I need to push myself till I break, because if I don't, I won't win, I won't be accountable, I won't actually be doing the work that I want to do, because if I genuinely love what I do, how can I take a break, right? I have been struggling in a 9 to 5 for almost 2 years now, 5 years now, 10 years now, 20 years now. Now is my time. I decided to quit. I am ready to go into my work completely. I'm ready to do something that I'm passionate about, that I absolutely love. How dare I take time off? How dare I stop doing what I love doing? And this is something that I like to imagine, is that we as individuals are not just individuals. We have multiple aspects within us, right? Like we have someone who loves dancing within us, we have someone who loves painting, we have someone who loves going out for walks, we have someone who loves to play with their pets, with their dogs, with their children, garden. We have so many different aspects of us living within ourselves. But when that time comes, when we choose our passion, it almost like these backup singers become true backup singers, and that passion, which was also a backup singer, takes the forefront. It holds the reins, and it is the one that we give our entire power to, that yo, you are the one who is going to handle all of the things that we're going to do today and moving forward, because you have been in the background for such a long time. You are the one who deals with all, you are the one who calls all the shots, you are the one who is going to take charge and do everything possible, right? In doing so, we basically sacrifice everything else that we decided that, hey, you know what, and I'm gonna love. We sacrifice everything at once. So you know things, why you keep ignoring and brushing aside the stress, because stress has become such a joke in today's day and age. Like, yeah, everyone is stressed out, everyone is burnt out, it happens. Everyone has made this word so common in its terminology, in its usage, that people ignore it. People are just like, yeah, it's going to be my lifelong friend. However, one thing that we need to understand is, if you keep ignoring that stress, it is going to pile up, it is going to pile up and reach a space where we burn out. And burnout is simply stress that hasn't been managed for a pretty long time. Now, this stress can come from different reasons, from different avenues in our life, right? It's very unique to us as individuals. What would potentially be stressing me out would not be stressing you out. It could be something that you find extremely motivating. So it's important to understand. I think the reason why I'm sharing all of this with you guys is to just bring awareness, bring things to light, that just because you're doing something that you're passionate about doesn't give you the right to burn out, right? It doesn't benefit anyone. Your burnout doesn't benefit anyone, not even yourself, not even your passion. And if you keep burning out, if you ignore that burnout, because a lot of times what we tend to do is, when we are burnt out, we are like, haha, you know what, I'm going to push myself harder. That just means that I haven't been working hard enough, I haven't been putting enough effort. We have all of these thoughts that just push the burnout more, because we are still stressing out, we are not taking care of ourselves, we are not allowing those stress cycles to complete. So we are simply pushing the burnout and prolonging it. The reason why I'm sharing all of this with you guys is, eventually when you keep burning out, you will lose out on that passion. your passion will fizzle out. Your passion will become something that you look at and you'll be like, oh my God, I hate this. I hate doing this. Why am I even bothering? You're going to resent it. You're going to uh, even, think about like, you know what, I'm going to go back to what I used to do. I'm going to go back and do my 9 to 5. Like, why am I even bothering with this? You have all of these thoughts that can hold on to you and push you back to square one, and you'll constantly be oscillating between a 9 to 5, but oh, I'm passionate about something. A 9 to 5, oh, I should have worked even harder with my passion just so that I could have achieved it. There must be a fault within me. If you keep burning out, if you lose out on your passion, all it does is it becomes proof for your mind. It programs your mind to let you know that don't do things that you love, don't do things that you're passionate about. You suck at this. You shouldn't be doing any of these things, right? Like, you have all of these negative limiting beliefs, and they are going to pile up, right? And this can be very specific to you. This can be very powerful and potent for you as an individual, right? For example, this could also lead you to further your imposter syndrome, right? You, every time you decide after burning out, after doing something that you love, you're going to look at something that you're trying out, you're going to look at something that you love doing, and you're going to be like, I don't think I can do this. That imposter syndrome is going to come out roaring because it didn't work out in the past. What guarantee is there for it to work out right now, right? The reason why I'm sharing all of these things is to just bring awareness. One of the biggest things to tackle your burnout, to tackle your stress, is to be aware about what is stressing you out as an individual. I like to call this the cocktail of triggers. Every individual has specific triggers that usually push them to feel stressed out. The next time you're stressed out, just take a note of what actually stressed you out. Make a note of that. Because, and if you see that this particular thing is stressing you out, for example, time constraint, for example, traffic, for example, your net not working just before an important call, your technology crashing, if all of these things are things that usually stress you out, you can better prepare for it. That is why awareness is key when managing and tackling your stress and burnout. The more aware you are, the quicker you can manage the stress. You're going to be like, hold on, something's wrong. I am breathing heavily. I am sweating a lot. I am feeling panicky. I'm feeling on edge. What is happening? Oh, I'm feeling stressed out. Why am I feeling stressed out? It's because my internet's not working. Has this happened in the past? Yes, it has. What can I do to ensure that this doesn't happen again? The more aware you are, the more conversations you can have with yourself, which is so important. The conversations you have with yourself, you already are aware of the answers, almost all of the answers, or at least the beginning of these answers, right? So the moment you start having conversations, you will realize a lot of the patterns that you subconsciously follow, and you will be able to take charge and take control and manage your stress better.
Mother
Right. And the
Linda,
next thing and the last thing,
I love
sorry, yeah.
everything you shared. Do you have one last thing?
Yes, I do. I
Mhm.
just wanted to let people know that please reach out for support. Nonetheless, reach out to anyone that can support you on this journey. It's extremely powerful. That you don't do this alone. Like, you don't have to. There are a lot of people who can support you with this. And I would like to invite you to my community. Some of the work that I do is around making stress management fun. And I have a free community called the Stress Busters, where we make things fun and we grow together as a community, and we follow our dreams and follow our passion. So I would like to share that link later on, and hopefully you guys can jump in there, check it out, see if it is your vibe, and if it is, then I will be here.
Absolutely. Yeah, you share so much powerful stuff. I wrote down your definition of legacy, or I don't know if it's yours, but it's really amazing. Planting a seed in the garden you don't see. And a lot of times when we think legacy, we don't really see our impact, and we have to work years ahead, especially as we're building a vision and we're building our business. So burnout is definitely one of the things that we always risk if we don't stay aware. So I think that's a powerful thing that you shared with us. Well, there you have it. All our amazing speakers, they're going to be found inside our Facebook group community, the Life School. All their links are going to be there. They're going to be connected with one another. This is what it's always about. And I want to thank each one of you personally for putting in the time here today to share all your amazing wisdom with our audience. audience. And I can't wait to go back and listen to this summit again. And I usually walk away with different nuggets. So it's like, just like I said at the beginning, a mastermind on its own. I also have a free masterclass where I help people connect the dots between their marketing, branding, sales systems, and team next week. And I'm going to show you how to land corporate clients and also consumer clients. For those of you that have an expertise, I don't know if you knew that you can also offer that to companies and corporations. So that's something that I am teaching next week. So I'll include the link to that as well. I want to thank you all. Thank you so much. And I will see you in one of the upcoming summits. Bye for now. Bye, everybody.